Namaste and hello. This is your Sanskrit instructor welcoming you back into lesson number 236. So we learned about the absolute phrases, when to use the locative absolute phrase, when to use the genitive absolute. But as you know, there are always exceptions to the rules. And you should have seen that throughout the course occasionally. So there's two exceptions. So when the subject of an adverb clause is the same as that of the main clause, the use of the locative absolute remains possible if the voice of the adverb clause can be changed. So this is two actions done by one person, place, or thing. So for example, after he had defeated the enemies, so he defeated the enemies, the king started for the palace. So the king defeated for the enemies and the king is starting for the palace. Those are two verbs that are being done by one noun. So if you change the voice that to the enemies have been defeated, the king started for the palace, then you can change it around to have to turn it into the locative absolute. Because what are you doing here? The way how you're playing around with it is that you're not making the king the subject anymore in the first part of the sentence. Okay, so the king started for the palace. Like, we know that that is the main clause. Even in the second way how we're manipulating the sentence, that still remains the main clause. So the detail before the main clause, what is happening here is that you're changing the subject. The enemies having been defeated. Here the enemies is the subject. But in the first example, after he had defeated the enemies, the king is still the subject. So once you change it around just a little bit, you change the voice, then you can use the locative absolute. So it's a way of playing around with your words. And then your final answer would be in the locative absolute. Your locative absolute answer would be Arishu Chiteshu Raja Prasadam Prasthitaha. So that would be your locative absolute answer. You cannot put this sentence in the locative absolute because you have the same subject for both parts of the sentence as the same. Now, the other exception is when the absolute phrase contains the present participle of the verb to be, which is us. It can be omitted in the locative absolute. So, you being my protector, I have no fear. So since you are my protector, I have no fear. That's the sentence. Okay. Let's fix this a little bit. There you go. So you being my protector, I have no fear. Since you are my protector, I have no fear. So you have Twayi and Rakshitari. That is in the locative case, singular. And Sati here is the present participle of the verb to be. So Sati mama bhayam nasti. So Sati, it can be omitted in the locative absolute. You can keep it there, you can leave it there, that's up to you, but it could still be understood. The same meaning of the sentence could still be understood whether you keep it there or not. So these are the exceptions when using the locative absolute. And with that, this is your Sanskrit instructor signing off with a namaste.